Bottom-up budgeting, or BUB, will be expanded in 2017 to cover over 42,000 barangays nationwide. Budget Secretary Butch Abando said the BUB will provide a subsidy of 1 million pesos to each barangay to be used for the implementation of 1 to 2 projects they have identified. The program is expected to aid barangays in better formulating poverty reduction action plans and monitoring the delivery of basic services in their communities. More of this report from Freddie Abando.
The series of reforms in the budget process implemented by the Aquino administration in the past 5 years has earned the World Bank's recognition as a model for good governance to be adopted by other countries. Budget Secretary Florencio Butch Abando stressed the reforms plugged leakages lost to corruption. It has doubled the budget from 1.5 trillion pesos in 2010 to 3.002 trillion pesos for 2016. Government invested in the right priorities to include the social protection program to benefit the poor. Conditional cash transfer was the centerpiece program for poverty alleviation.
Social protection covers 5 areas: CCT, basic education, public health, housing, and climate change mitigation, mainly relief and rehabilitation. And we have invested significantly in all 5. For example, this year for social housing, there is 25.6 billion pesos to finish all the housing requirements of those victimized by the Yolanda Super Typhoon.
The evolution of reform started with zero budgeting to ensure transparency and accountability in 2011.
No budget item was sacred. If it was not necessary, then we scrap it. And we gave priority to those necessary. That's why we were able to make dramatic increases in public investments in social protection, in basic education, in public health infrastructure.
For 2012 and 2013, the controversial disbursement acceleration program to fast-track government spending but was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. Bottoms-up budgeting to benefit the poorest local governments. For 2016, it covers the Calzada program and empowering barangays to engage the implementation of projects and programs.
This year, we will start the process of orienting and consulting the almost 42,000 barangays all over the country, because we will begin the BUB for barangays. As you know, easily about 40% of the barangays only have IRAs of about 1 million and below. And these are just enough to pay for their kagawads and their overhead. So they have nothing by way of projects to implement. So what we will do starting this year is to train them so that in the 2017 budget, we can then provide for, I guess, for a third of them initially to have their own projects to implement in 2017.
So it sets the stage for.
So it's when you speak about ituloy ang daang matuwid, this is really how it is going to be ramped up by way of support for local government units, in the framework of meaningful devolution.
For 2015 and 2016, the General Appropriations Act has released a document to facilitate the release of funds to implement projects before the election ban in March. Because of these reforms, Abad said it has restored the trust of the people and the investing public in government. This led to the country's recognition by the global community.
The most important reflection of all those changes is really the restoration of trust in government, not just by the people, but by the investing public. Why do I say that? Look at the survey performance of the president. From the very start to this day, it's not only high, but it's been high for the longest period of time. So that the president will be exiting as president of this country with the most accomplishment and with the highest levels of trust and approval ratings. That's number one. Now, by the investing public, you can see that because this is the only government ever that secured for this country an investment grade rating. And we did not just secure one. We had 22 upgrades. Not only that, if you look at the international benchmarks on ease of doing business, on competitiveness, on corruption perception, on economic freedom, on quality of infrastructure, resiliency of the economy, I mean, you name it, the country leads the world in those benchmarks.
Despite these gains, Abad admit there is still so much work to be done. However, Abad stressed the president's leadership has been the driving force for the rise of the country from sick man to the idol of the world.
We're not saying that everything was perfect. There were a lot of difficulties. For example, in the area of agriculture, we had problems with rice supply and rice prices. That's why in 2014, instead of continuously going down, poverty incidence went up by 1% because of the price of food, principally rice. We also had problems, for example, with transportation. With MRT. So we continue to have problems with internet consistency, connectivity. Lots of corruption, while significantly reduced, is still something that can be worked on. The dispersal of growth to the countryside.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.